Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. We'll just be another minute here before we get started. Feel free to settle in. If you want to pop in the chat where you're joining from, that would be awesome. All right. Great to see where everyone is coming from. Feel free to keep popping info into the chat. It's really great to see where people are joining from. In the meantime, why don't we get started? So thank you for attending our green chemistry commitment info session today. And if we go to the next slide, in 1 second. Perfect. Yeah, I'm just going to quickly introduce myself. My name is Nimrat Obi. I'm a program manager for higher education at Beyond Benign, and that's my email there. And I am going to be one of the hosts for today. So I will pass it off to Natalie to introduce herself.
Hi all, Natalie O'Neill, Director of Higher Education. I'm glad to be tuning in with you all today, and I'll pass it over to Juliana to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Juliana. I'm a program manager here at Beyond Benign, and I'm really excited to get to know you and also be in the connection. Thank you. In this info section. My brain. Thank you very much.
You'll definitely be hearing about the connections a little bit later on. But for now, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Amy Cannon, who is our executive director, who's going to be speaking for you all a little bit at the beginning of this presentation. And I'm really looking forward to hearing from her. So please welcome her.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you all so much for showing up and participating. We're really excited to have you here and talk about the value and the growing demand for green chemistry education. If you're here, you likely are somewhat familiar with what green chemistry and some of those opportunities that green chemistry can present. I'm going to touch upon that briefly, so I'm not going to go into exhaustive detail about what green chemistry is about or anything like that. But we are happy to provide any additional details as needed. But I'm assuming so far, I think since there's growing interest throughout globally, I would say, in green chemistry as a whole, I hope that that awareness has also been building throughout the year. So it's really nice to see you here. Actually, go back one slide. Sorry. But yeah, now more than ever, we need students with green chemistry skills. And it's really exciting. These are some of the companies that we work with here that are represented on the bottom and that are actively supporting some of our work in green chemistry education. You might recognize some of their logos and names. But, you know, and we're hearing this, the role, you know, green chemistry is essential in some of the skills that are needed to address some of the global challenges that we're facing within industry and within the chemical enterprise as a whole. So it's a really exciting time. And on the next slide, I think, you know, and at the same time, there's also a growing demand for there's growth in the chemicals market. So the chemicals market as a whole is projected to double by 2023. And we sure do hope, and we think it's necessary for the vast majority of that chemicals market to be green, or greener, I should say. So the growth of chemicals market is on the rise. There's a growing demand from consumers as well. People want to see this. People want to have more sustainable choices. And the good news is this is a U.S. Department of Labor report that came out 2 years ago now, 2021. These are good jobs that are offered here in the U.S. They're good. And there's a growing demand for students with green chemistry skills. So it's a really exciting time right now, and there's tremendous opportunity. Yeah, next slide. So if this is where we want to go here in our society, if this is ultimately what we want safe, sustainable materials. So we use this term benign, low or no impact. And we want safe products and safe processes, ultimately in support of a greener society and a greener planet, a more sustainable planet. So ultimately that we want to achieve sustainable human environmental health. If this is where we need to go, how are we going to get there? And, so that's kind of our vision here at Beyond Benign. We envision a world where basically the molecular building blocks of everything that you use every day, so you pick them up off the shelf or whatever you purchase, it almost does, your purchasing choices matter very much now. But ultimately, wouldn't it be great if we had this society where the molecular building blocks, the products that we use every day, are safe and healthy for humans and the environment? And the only way we're going to get there is really by starting at the beginning, and that's in our education systems. And that's where you guys are so important in the work that you do, and training and preparing the next generation. So it's that education piece that sort of provides that human resource to transform how we practice and implement chemistry in an industrial setting, and also just in support of our global society. So that's our mission as an organization. We empower educators really to transform chemistry education for a sustainable future. And really that this other piece that's in between, this innovation, is a second piece that's required in order for us to achieve that sustainable human environmental health. That innovation piece, we don't have all the answers yet. And we need that education piece in support of the innovation piece, because that's so many innovators are coming out of academia, either in led by researchers or spin-off out of universities. So that innovation piece is so essential because we don't have all the answers. And we need new eyes and new perspectives to help us solve all the global challenges that we're facing. So, so that's where, so here at Beyond Benign, I'm the executive director and co-founder. I co-founded it back in 2007. And we use this term Beyond Benign because it speaks very much to what the core of what green chemistry is all about. At least one of the main components of what green chemistry is all about. That beyond being environmentally benign, a green chemistry technology, it can't just have that environmental component, right? It would be nice if that were the case, but it also has to work, and which I guess is kind of a no-brainer. And it also has to have comparable economics. So all of these three things combined is what makes a successful green chemistry technology. Because honestly, if it doesn't work and it's not that's the case, particularly as we're getting to, global scale and scaling. But oftentimes it results in a more economical process and cost benefits due to the reduction in hazards, due to reduction in waste generation, and things that are very costly, within an industrial scale. So that's where our tongue twister of a name comes from, Beyond Benign. Just a little tidbit there too. But this is my one brief slide about what green chemistry is all about. Again, I hope you're already coming to this with a general understanding of green chemistry. But they're founded in these 12 principles of green chemistry, which actually were written from a book that we're in the 25th anniversary of the publishing of the 12 principles of green chemistry in the book Green Chemistry Theory and Practice by John Warner and Paul Anastas. And honestly, they go through, each one of these helps us think about a more holistic approach to how we approach molecular design and chemistry in designing our chemical processes and our products. So with the focus on the product, the raw materials and starting materials, the process conditions, things like energy efficiency, and then finally the last one is end of life consideration. Yeah, there you go, end of life. So each one of these 12 principles, I'm not going to go into all the details, they again help us to think more holistically about how we're approaching, the tools of our trade as chemists. So with that, and just a quick little fun thing too, we currently have a promotion where we do have a book giveaway, Green Chemistry Theory and Practice. We are going to pop links in chats, I know here. Yep. And, feel free to sign up to enter to win a chance to win one of these books, Green Chemistry Theory and Practice. So kind of a fun thing. But yeah, our organization, co-founded by myself and John Warner, who again was one of the authors of those 12 principles in that book and one of the leading innovators in the field of green chemistry. And I am a chemist as well by training, with my PhD in green chemistry from the University of Massachusetts, Boston. And we started this back in 2007, really to address a gap that we saw in chemistry education. In that we're typically not trained how to address sustainability within the strategies that we use as molecular designers. So there's tremendous opportunities, and I had already told you about some of those companies too that support our work too. That was a selection of them. So we work across the whole education continuum, and there's tremendous opportunities for green chemistry throughout this continuum to inspire future scientists to plant that seed, demystify, this sometimes abstract subject, spark interest. And then at the undergraduate and graduate level where we're at and we're focusing on here, this is, building those skills and training those future scientists in support of how we implement and again, how we're implementing these tools in the practice of our trade. So there's tremendous opportunity across this pipeline, and our current strategies are up there in the right corner. We focus on investing in educators, developing and identifying resource gaps, developing tools and resources, and then fostering peer support networks, because we find that peer-to-peer learning is often one of the best ways to really bring about change and support change. So those are some of our strategies that we use. And our work, this is a bit of a theory of change here. This is our bigger picture. We aim to foster a diverse and welcoming community that is capable of really driving this transformative change in chemistry education. We know that curriculum changes and these sort of education reform things are not easy. And so the more we can provide support to this global community to do more and empower them to do more, the better off we're all going to be globally. So these are the strategies that we use on the left, investing in educators, developing tools and resources, peer support networks, I already mentioned. We also do this through partnerships. We have some really fantastic key partners. We can't do this alone. Not one person, not one organization, not one institution can do this alone. We need partnerships. And then, DEBR, diversity, equity, belonging, and respect. We're committed to instilling this throughout the work that we do, across the board. And these are the outcomes that we're looking for on the right. We're looking for an increase in the awareness, so better understanding of what green chemistry is about, increasing the belief that it does solve challenges, understanding of green chemistry, confidence to teach it for educators, and then ultimately that integration and increase in the integration of green chemistry across the board at our academic institutions. So yeah, next one, what do we, okay, yes. And our reason for focusing on, again, empowering educators is because educators truly are the catalyst, to use a chemistry term. You know, one educator reaches hundreds of students annually. And so if we can empower those educators to make change, then, you know, the number of students that can be reached is tremendous if we can empower that one educator. So, you know, you really are change agents, and, you know, bringing this to your day to day is what we're here to help and enable others to do. So there's tremendous opportunity for green chemistry in colleges and universities. You heard it's valued by industry. We are, you know, we post job opportunities all the time in our newsletter, which you're welcome to sign up for on our homepage. And we've seen an uptick in job postings. We hear from industry all the time, this is what we want to see in students with these skills. And it's because of that environmental, economic, and social benefits as well. That's a key piece. You know, green chemistry can be transformational. You know, it shifts that discussion of yes, we admit that chemistry historically has been either a small or a large part of the problems that we face in sustainability globally, but you know, it's also the solution, and it's really, and you know, arguably it could be a central solution because of the molecular, that foundational nature of chemistry itself, you know. So it shifts that lens from chemistry as the problem to chemistry as the solution. Better prepare students post-graduation, because again, students are, there's an uptick for students that they, you know, industry wants students with these skills. It makes removing hazards from laboratories, makes the laboratory safer, and honestly, it's the right thing to do. So with that, I think I'm going to hand it over to Natalie O'Neill, our Director of Higher Ed, to talk to us a little bit more about the green chemistry commitment.
Thank you, Amy. And I will say thank you for that introduction, and also just the humble introduction to that of you brought this community together in the gap that you saw from your own chemistry training as well. And I'm so honored to be here and talking about the program that we have in the higher ed space that you brought together through faculty members, and now has grown to over 116 institutions, which is called our Green Chemistry Commitment Program. So if you're joining us today, hopefully you're in to learn more about this program and what it is doing globally currently. But I want to start off in saying that it is a flexible program. The intention really is to bring green chemistry into an institution in the way that it makes sense for that institution, and to share those learnings with other institutions so everyone isn't starting from ground zero. So people are really building upon the great work that is already out there. And we're really catalyzing and moving forward this green chemistry education in a way that is really holistic and really inclusive of all the viewpoints in the community that is out there doing great work. So our mission at Beyond Benign is to reach a goal of 25 by 25, and that's a United States based goal, because we are here in the United States based, and that's to reach 25% of the US graduating chemists with green chemistry skills by 2025. And we're doing this with a focus through our minority serving institutions. And so I'll be handing this over to our program manager, Nim, who can talk about that specific intentional focus that we're taking to reach that 25% goal. But I invite you to join us in this commitment program to learn more about it. And so what I want to just tell you in why you should join us is that there are opportunities for signers, and we're really excited for this. We started out giving benefits to signers in terms of mini grant opportunities in 2021. We opened up and gave out our first funds. So we're excited to continue this with the support of those industry funders and partners that Amy has mentioned are looking for these skills in the next generation workforce. The Green Chemistry Commitment Program is really about 4 green chemistry student learning objectives. And so these student learning objectives were determined by the Green Chemistry Commitment Advisory Board, and those that put together a kind of loose framework of what does it mean to bring green chemistry into your institution. And so that means that students know about the 12 principles, they understand how to apply those in their laboratory skills, they understand that there's a connection to toxicology, that they need to be thinking about the environmental and human health impacts of the chemistry that they do and how that connects to green chemistry. And then that application, right, that they can use these skills to go out and to do better in the workforce and however they end up using and practicing their chemistry skills. And that not only chemists also need to know and be thinking about green chemistry as well. So it's really to build awareness on campuses from our side at Beyond Benign, to provide support, share examples of other people doing work on campuses, so that network of support comes through the Green Chemistry Commitment Program from other institutions globally. And really the goal is to prepare the chemists to be able to do these sustainable practices through chemistry that we need for the sustainable future that we all hope to achieve in the future. So I've mentioned the Green Chemistry Commitment Advisory Board members. I do just want to show you the amazing committee that we do have together and that we are going to be even expanding upon in the year to come as well. And this is a benefit of the Green Chemistry Commitment Program, is to have a voice in what is the commitment about, how is it shaped, how do we welcome new people, how do we mentor people, how do we keep this program really important and flexible and voluntary, but also valuable for those that are involved in it. So these are the people that are on our advisory board and leaders within the field as well. So we thank them for their time and their great advice in helping us shape it. The Green Chemistry Commitment Program does have some great kind of report out to share. We have run our audit, which is a yearly survey that we send out to our Green Chemistry Commitment signers. So when you ask, what do you mean when you say Green Chemistry Commitment signers, and what are you going to ask me for? You're pretty much committing to us that you will fill out and let us know what you're up to yearly in a yearly survey. And that survey is less, I will say, I believe right now it's 25 questions. It's not meant to be intensive. It's really for us to be able to see what our institution's doing, what are the gaps, what are the sharings and knowledges that we can be sharing across the institutions that are doing this work. And so we can just see in terms of the adoption rates of GCC signers, they tend to make significant changes in their teaching and practices. And again, this kind of information is coming from our survey that was done in June of 2022. They're attending our events, so they're coming to, much like this and was already mentioned, our Green Chemistry Connection events, which are monthly events where people come and talk about what are they doing within their courses, sharing examples from papers and curriculums that are out there, and the up and coming things that may be in research as well from the industry too. And we see too as well, if they're involved in our community, that they become active in the green chemistry space, and they're coming to conferences with us, writing journal articles about the great work that they're doing within their departments as well. So those are some of just the benefits that we see from the GCC signers within our, again, GCC status report, and this is from 2022. You can also see here in terms of just we saw from our studies that there's been an increase in the number of research groups that are performing green chemistry now compared to our study before. So again, being within the Green Chemistry Commitment Program not only lets us see what the community is doing within 1 year, but also lets us see the change over time, and also within an institution, what are the tactics and approaches that people are taking as well. And so that's also an interesting thing for us as we're coming up on our 10 years of the Green Chemistry Commitment Program. So where has the commitment program been, and where is it going? But it's really interesting, and also kind of correlates with the fact that the Green Chemistry Commitment Program has the student learning objectives of having those laboratory skills. So being able to practice green chemistry in the laboratory, we see that 98% of our GCC signers are reporting that they're practicing the green chemistry principles and practices in their laboratory course. And so that's wonderful to see that that's happening through those laboratory courses. And then another thing that we're able to to see now and kind of think about and how to focus upon is to see that our departments are doing 80% outreach to K through 12. And so how can we make sure that when they're doing outreach, they're talking about green chemistry and the resources that we have at Beyond Benign to support them in doing that. And then that connection over to how they can do professional development through the ACS Green Chemistry student groups that they could apply for an award if they're doing outreach in that area too. So we're always thinking about how can we help departments to be doing more green chemistry and highlight those that may already be doing it. So you may be on the line today and be coming from an institution where you do a ton of green chemistry already. We'd like to highlight that. It's not necessarily that you're not already doing it. We're encouraging you to do even more, and we forever will be. I believe our approach is really that it will always be greener, that we can always continue to learn in that growth mindset. So I do just want to mention that as well, because I do, and I'm showing here just a case study from a large institution, the University of Minnesota, that's been doing great work back since, I'm not even sure, way before my time in understanding, but I know that they were a founding member back in 2013. And so they talk about here that being a part of the GCC has really encouraged the addition of toxicology into their courses. And so maybe that's something that wouldn't have been brought in unless there was this kind of push through the student learning objectives to bring toxicology in. And so that's really great. And they show kind of a highlight as well of a collaboration that came out of that. And I can just speak to, we see this a lot from GCC signers, is that they take on this and then actually build collaborations because of now the dynamic nature that your chemistry department has brought to itself, and conversation starters that you may not have had before green chemistry as well. So there's a full interview here. I would push you and encourage you to go check out the words of Jane Wissinger from the University of Minnesota about the Green Chemistry Commitment Program as well. And just so you know, in terms of the institutions, if you're joining us today, maybe you're not positive you are a signer or not. We do have a list of institutions over on our website, but they are on the slide. They're getting to the point where we can't just fit all the logos on one place. So we have them here broken down by state for the United States, but then our international GCC signers as well. I did mention our 25 by 25 green chemistry commitment program, and I mentioned that we do have a focus of our minority serving institutions in the next 5 years. So 2025, we started when we had 5 years. We have 2 years left towards our 2025 goal. But I do just want to make sure that we highlight what opportunities we do have. And so Nim, I am going to pass it over to you to share.
Thank you. Yes, as Natalie mentioned, the Minority Serving Institution Initiative that we run is a really critical component of our overall Green Chemistry Commitment Umbrella Program, because we recognize that these are institutions that are doing excellent green chemistry work, and we'd like to provide that kind of intentional support in that way. And so there are a few program objectives here where we really seek to partner through the Green Chemistry Commitment Program with minority serving institutions to help the incorporation of green chemistry there, building inclusive and diverse community spaces for those at MSIs in order to be able to kind of collaborate and share and learn from each other, and really kind of creating that community space so that everyone has a chance to kind of network and learn from each other in terms of how they're incorporating green chemistry at their own specific institutions with really diverse student populations. And then the third one is to really engage and support green chemistry student leaders. Natalie mentioned the ACS student chapters being kind of a way that we're reaching out, because we really want to seek to empower diverse student populations to do more green chemistry as the next generation of people who are going to kind of take up this mantle. And so you can see some of the kind of benefits there for MSIs. But if we go to the next slide, I really wanted to show first, if we can, yeah. Perfect. Yes, these are all our MSI signers at the moment. And this group of signing institutions is only growing every day. So it's really great to see that a lot of these institutions are partnering with us and creating that kind of network, and the ability for us to learn from them and from them to also kind of connect with each other too has been totally invaluable. So we only hope that more MSIs will partner with us. And then on the next slide too, I wanted to just highlight a couple of grants that we do have at the moment. And this is part of our Minority Serving Institution initiative. So the first one I'm going to mention here is specifically for student support. And so if you know of student groups at your MSIs, or if you know of student groups at other MSIs who are doing green chemistry work, we do have 3 grants available at the moment for them to apply to, in order for them to run their green chemistry activities and outreach events. These grants are moving kind of quickly, and so we're accepting applications and assessing them on a rolling deadline, first come, first serve. So please, please, please do forward this information to your student groups that you know who are doing green chemistry work. We really do want to provide this support to them. And just to mention as well, these slides will become available after the session, and all the links here, in addition to the links in the chat, you will be able to just follow those too. And please do email me with any questions about this application process. We do want this to be as transparent as possible. Yes, and oh, sorry, yes, that was an error. On the next slide, these are a couple of grants that we are offering that are a little bit heftier. And these are ones like specifically to provide that dedicated support to faculty in combination with students if they wish, to maybe integrate those kind of heavier lift type modules into your course curricula, or kind of those heavier green chemistry initiatives in your department. And so we do have 2 awards available for $5,000 each. And these are open to green chemistry commitment signing institutions who are also MSIs. And so again, kind of really trying to provide that intentional support to our MSI community. The deadline for these is coming up. It's April 30th at the end of the day. So please, please, please do consider signing the commitment and also getting your application in for this grant. You can enter your commitment signing forms and your application at the same time, as long as they're both in by April 30th, that's no problem. But again, we really do want to support the community in this way. So do take advantage of these grants. And of course, I'm on hand to answer any questions about this too. And so with that, I will hand it off to Natalie.
Thank you, Nim. I am just popping in to say that we have, in addition to the grants that Nim just mentioned, an exciting announcement that we gave at the American Chemical Society spring meeting. So if you weren't there, you're hearing it here, or maybe you saw it on social media. Our expanded partnership with Millipore Sigma that will also add grants for the Green Chemistry Commitment Program, and deadlines and details for that are going to be coming in June. So stay tuned for that. But those will specifically be for green chemistry commitment signing institutions. So again, you've got some time. Those will have a rolling deadline, and we'll be talking about those, I'm sure, come June and then in the fall to come as well. And that partnership with Millipore Sigma supports the Green Chemistry Commitment Program, but also supports the Green Chemistry Teaching and Learning Community, which is called the GCTLC. And I'm going to hand it over to Amy to talk more about that.
Yeah, we're really excited to, I'm just going to say really quickly, we're really excited to offer those grants as well. We want to support the community to be able to do the work that they're doing. And we anticipate those sort of grants being made available on an annual basis. So it's something that we're going to keep in our focus, you know, and so we anticipate being able to offer and more of those. So it's just something, again, a nice little perk for the GCC signing community. So yes, the GCTLC, we've been doing a lot. I mean, if you notice, we like to bring people together. We like to, you know, think about what the best mechanisms are to really transform and support educators. And we've done a lot of listening and learning and understanding other communities of practice that have successfully brought transformative change to their STEM education initiatives. So, and one of the key mechanisms that we found that was common in these communities of transformation, is what they're called, which is a cool term in my view, was that there was this online support mechanism that was a common tool, an enabling tool within these communities that enabled community members to access resources, to work with their peers, collaborative spaces, mentoring, and so that's what we came to. We came to the GCTLC, Green Chemistry Teaching and Learning Community, and it's something that we've been building through the past almost 3 years now. Dr. Jonathan Moore came on and worked with us starting at the beginning of 2001, at the beginning of this process. And he's just been a fantastic person to lead this initiative. But basically, it's coming very soon. So it's really exciting. This is the time it's going to launch this summer. But these are the kinds of opportunities that this online tool and platform will feature. We've partnered with the ACS Green Chemistry Institute. Again, partnerships are central to what we do. The ACS Green Chemistry Institute does some fantastic work in also enabling the community and bringing green chemistry education to the community. So those are all the kinds of things that you saw that this tool will do. It'll house community resources and have, again, those interactive spaces for the community. But again, our big picture vision and our mission around this GCTLC, it's about empowering. It's about empowering educators, citizens, and scientists to really enable and transform science education and ultimately to achieve that sustainable planet ultimately. And so this is our mission and our vision, and this is how some of our core values that we hold dear and that we're trying to keep at the center throughout the process of developing this tool. Creating a respectful community that has a sense of belonging and inclusivity for all members of the chemistry education community, ensuring equitable access to resources, fostering, discovery, innovation, creativity in chemistry education, maintaining high quality standards and excellence, so that we know that teaching chemistry, we still have to teach chemistry. We're not removing any chemistry from what we're teaching. We're still teaching those concepts, but we're teaching them within a green chemistry lens, and ensuring that transparency and integrity throughout the whole development of the process. And I think on the next slide is the leadership. Yes. Okay. Perfect. So which leads me to, we're often doing these sort of programs alongside the community. So the GCTLC Leadership Committee is comprised of different kinds of leaders throughout the community, some faculty members, some industry professionals, other professionals, other partners. You'll see some of the centers for green chemistry, such as Berkeley and Yale here, and also K-12 educators. And they really help us think through the best approaches for how we're going to be creating this open and inclusive space. So we're super thankful to this whole group of amazing leaders and on our leadership committee as well. And I think I'm handing it back off. Is that right? Oh, no, last one, sorry. We do have some great reports that have come out because again, part of that transparency piece, we want to share, the sort of what we're doing behind the scenes in a sense. So this is our latest report that was just come out. It's our annual impact report for the green chemistry teaching and learning community. So you could learn more about it, what's coming, and provided we have a launch date of August this year. So please, if you sign up and you indicate in the newsletter list that you're interested in receiving information about the GCTLC, we will keep you updated. We'll let you know. We'll be opening up some you'll be able to see a little bit of this in action and ultimately get in there by August this year. So it's super exciting, and we really want we want the whole community there. This is open for the whole community. We will have opportunities for GCC signers for sure, but this is open to anyone within the chemistry education broader community. And I think that's where now is maybe where I'm handing it over. Yes, that's right. I think I'm now passing it off to Juliana Vidal, and she's going to talk to us a little bit more about some of the additional offerings here.
In the correct event, I guess. So hi, everyone. Yes, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the resources that we have on our website. So these are basically like how you can start implementing green chemistry into your class. I have no idea where to start. So you can just go to our website, and this is going to give you a great idea. So an important resource that we have is the Green Chemistry Curriculum course that was built with Yale and also UNIDO. And I actually use that a lot for my thesis, for my PhD thesis. So that's a great resource. We also have a green chemistry resource for inorganic labs, for toxicology for chemists, and also a green chemistry resource, a tool for general and also inorganic chemistry labs is coming up. So keep in touch because we're going to share those with you. If we go to the next slide. Yes, so now the Green Chemistry Connections. So these are monthly meetings where we just get the community together. We just talk about green chemistry, learn from each other, and share resources. So if you're interested to connect with us, the next event is happening next week, April 19th, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm going to drop later a link in the chat for you to register. Also, if you want to talk in an event, share all the amazing things we're doing. We're also here. We'll be happy to have you as a speaker in our Green Chemistry Connections. And also, if you're interested to learn more about the Green Chemistry Commitment, we're organizing our summit. So on June 12th, it's going to be a hybrid event. So if you are online, if you can't make it to Long Beach, California, just join us online. And also, if you're going to the Green Chemistry Engineering Conference in Long Beach, California, on June 12th, we're going to be there. It's going to be a full day talking about green chemistry, talking about the commitment, and seeing how the universities are implementing it and supporting them. So yeah, if you want to participate, you can join us for the Green Chemistry Commitment. The link is in the chat too. And also, we're going to be in a lot of conferences this year. So if you're going to any conferences, if you're going to the conference, the Designing by a Green Chemistry Future by the University of Toronto, Nim is going to be there. She's going to talk about green chemistry and Beyond Benign. If you're going to the Green Chemistry, the CSC conference in Canada, in Vancouver in June, we're also going to be there. And as I mentioned, we're going to be in the Green Chemistry Engineering Conference. And besides that, you can also have a look at all of the conferences and events we're doing on our website so you can follow us. Also, if you want to learn more about the Green Chemistry Connections, we have a toolkit. This is the link for you to participate. And again, more connections on your way. And also, the Green Chemistry Commitment Journey is basically a series of emails that we send for 4 days for people who actually want to know more about the commitment. If you have to convince someone else in your university to participate, we can give you, you can sign up for this series, and we'll send you some information about the Green Chemistry Commitment through these emails. And last but not least, please sign up for a newsletter. Everything in chemistry related, you can see there. So basically, we'll send emails about jobs, about events, anything related to green chemistry. We'll be happy to network with you and send all of the information we have from our newsletter. And if you're a social media person, we are also on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and also Facebook. Just send us a message, follow us there, and we'll be happy to keep the connection. Again, a lot of connections today. So yes. I'm going to hand it over to Nim, and thank you all very much.
Thank you. And thank you for to everyone for all of your attention. I did want to throw this slide back up on the screen again, because we really do encourage you to reach out to any of us. You've heard from all 3 of the higher ed team members today, myself, Natalie, Juliana, about all the cool things we have going on, and also a really amazing introduction from Amy. Our emails are there, our social media handles are there. We're on hand to answer any and all questions that you have about anything that we've got going on. You are part of our community. Please, please, please do reach out, get in touch. We're always happy to chat and to kind of let you know in person, face to face, whatever you have going on, what there is to know. And so to kind of conclude, on the next slide, I would just quickly like to thank all of the really amazing sponsors that allow us to do the things that we do. As Amy mentioned, we do partner, we do receive sponsorship from a lot of really cool organizations and institutions. So this is a shout out to them as well. And then to kind of wrap up here, as we come to kind of closer to the hour, thank you to all of you for attending and for your attention. Thank you to Amy and to everyone who spoke today. And we do want to open up the floor and give the opportunity for questions that some of you might have. So we know that we did hit you with a lot of information, but we do have some time now until 1 p.m. to be able to just chat and just kind of answer any questions that you might have. If you need inspiration for a question, we've written a few here too, in case you wanted to kind of know more about those things too. So please do feel free to unmute and just jump in. You can raise your hand, you can pop in a question into the chat. We'll be keeping an eye on everything, and we're here to answer any kind of queries that you might have. So I'm going to open up the floor for questions now, and please go ahead if someone wants to be brave and kind of ask the first question.
Hi, maybe I'm going for the low-hanging fruit here, but I'm definitely interested to hear what sort of we're committing to by signing this, and if there's like reporting or other requirements from us.
No, that's an awesome question. I think I'm happy to answer unless Natalie, you wanna go for it. Okay, I'll go for it. Yes, so the main thing about the commitment is that it's really not prescriptive at all. We don't kind of tell you what to do. The commitment itself is it kind of centers on those 4 student learning objectives. So really all you're committing to is integrating green chemistry into your curricula at your own pace. And in terms of reporting, we do send out that audit every year, and that's really just a survey for us to get a better sense of what our signers are up to. And so that we can kind of put those sort of statistics on the slides that you saw earlier in the presentation about who's doing what percentage of our signers are kind of up to certain things. But we also use the audit as a way to assess the needs of our signer base too. So in terms of kind of reporting, I would say that's the major thing. And again, just to reiterate, the commitment really is at your own pace. We're really keen to like build a network of people who are doing green chemistry work, and to kind of be able to connect all of you together with each other. And each institution is different, so we're not about to tell you how to do what you're doing. We're just here to support you to do that. So Natalie, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that, but I think I covered it.
I think you answered it wonderfully. I think I said at one point in terms of just the commitment also is to sign on. We do have a info kit that we will make sure to follow up with you if we haven't already put it into the chat too. But to sign on, it does take the chemistry department chair, or whatever that equivalent is at your institution. We know there are often different terminologies. Maybe it's not a chemistry department, but it's the science and technology department. But you teach chemistry within that department. That is the department that we would like to see sign on to the commitment, is the one that teaches the chemistry within an institution. So what department that is who we like to see, and that is the chair, so the person that leads that department, and then also a provost or an administrator of some sort. So that might be a dean or a president, and academic affairs. Again, different terms at different institutions. But really, we're looking for the department that teaches chemistry to sign on. The institution is aware that it is happening. So it really is an effective way for you to have power within your institution to say, we're doing this. It's the connection to sustainability. And often what we hear from our signers and what we have in even the reports and the case studies is it gives them that power and connection to sustainability accountability, and also as a department to all be going in the same direction. We're all intentionally going to bring things in as well too. So I hope that answers the question, but again, please feel free to follow up if there's any questions there as well too.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to that to say that, like, logistically, it's quite simple, where it's just 2 forms with a few signatures from some key people. And then the info kit document that Natalie was mentioning, I will be emailing out to you as well. And that really kind of goes into the framework of the commitment and like how to sign and the benefits to signing. And that document too can be shared with other people, as Natalie mentioned. So you will all receive that in a follow-up email along with the slides too. Does anyone have any questions about grants too? We can definitely talk about grants. I just like talking about how we can give you money, so.
I think that means you did a really good job putting together all the information by your own team.
Well, we understand it is hard to think of questions on the spot. So again, please do take advantage of our emails and email us any kind of queries that you might have. Yes, a question. I'm going to hand that one off to Natalie. Natalie, if you can see that question in the chat.
So that is a good question. We don't have any currently formally open at Beyond Benign or industry partners, but again, we do, I will say we will put them in our newsletter if there are opportunities, specifically from the Beyond Benign side, if students are interested in what does it mean to be a nonprofit person. Like all of the people you've heard from today have PhDs in chemistry, Juliana, Nim, and myself, and Amy as well. And we are chemists that are practicing, but not at the bench. And what does that mean for students? Send them our way. That is how I ended up at Beyond Benign, is sending an email to Amy and her graciously saying, here's what we do. And then kind of just bringing the things into my classes as well. And I know that we have students that are working in an internship type of fashion, looking at the literature for us and seeing who's out there doing great green chemistry. It's a win for them. It's a win for us. So we have informal types of things. But from the industry partner side of things, we will always be sharing things through the newsletter, on our social media. Take a look there as well. And then the green chemistry teaching and learning community in the future will be the place to find those opportunities as well too.
But also kind of echo what Natalie was saying too. We do really, really appreciate and enjoy making connections with people who are just really interested in doing green chemistry work. And so if there's no kind of formal internship available with us, please do feel free to reach out anyways, and we'll try and make some room for you and build some sort of lasting collaboration if possible. So again, just wanted to throw that out there, that you can contact us at any time and we'll work something out. I'm just going to give a couple more minutes if there are any kind of last questions. But yes, we are coming to the top of the hour, so please do feel free. If you have to get going, then thank you so much for attending. Oh, perfect. I'm looking at the chat right now. That's super exciting. We love to hear it. And yes, that's another thing actually that we could have mentioned too, is if you do want to make a big splash about having signed the commitment, that is also an option. McGill University in Canada had a whole signing ceremony that was kind of put into their news. Juliana and Amy were there in person along with John Warner. Augsburg University actually printed out their form, and it was really big, and they snapped a picture of themselves signing it. So if you want to do something like that too, we can most definitely accommodate. Yes, perfect. Oh, it's wonderful to hear from you.
That's super, super exciting and so wonderful to hear. And we want to hear what you're doing. And, you know, we'd love to elevate your work as well. So super exciting.
Alrighty, well, since we're coming to the top of the hour, I think we can leave it there. So thank you so much to all of you for attending today, and for your excitement and your enthusiasm. And it's been great to kind of see some familiar faces, but also meet new ones. Do reach out and keep an eye out for my follow-up email. I'll try and cram all the information into that one. So thank you so much. And we really hope to see you soon, and come to the connections next week. Bye.